ब्रह्मनाथ शांति 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 स्वस्थ।
Students, in the previous class we discussed some important characteristics of the living organism, in which we discussed that a living organism should have a definite shape and size. Okay, as we discussed that a particular organism is having a particular shape and size. Next we discussed that living organism consists of or made up of cell, which is the structural unit of life, or we can say it is the building block of organisms. Next we discussed the organizations, means if in a organism's body the presence of, we can say, the smaller unit and the subunit combines to form a larger unit, that is called the organization. Further we discussed, we can say, the the metabolism. Okay, metabolism in which it is of two types, anabolism, catabolism. Okay, so like this we discussed important 8 characteristics, such as we also discussed the homeostasis, in which we discussed that it is the maintenance of the constancy of the internal environment by the feedback mechanism. Okay, so as like this we discussed important 8 characteristics of the living organisms. Also we discussed the growth and development. This is also one of your important characteristics of the, we can say, living organisms. Today we will discuss some more important characteristics of the living organism. First we will discuss the response to stimuli. Every living organisms shows response or irritability towards the, we can say, the stimuli or the external environment. Every living organisms shows response or irritability towards stimuli, or we can say the external environment. Okay, so now the question is, what is the response and what is the response to the stimuli? Anything that causes any type or such sort of response in our body, that is called stimuli. Common example, if a hot substance is there and accidentally we touch it and we withdraw our hand, so that is also form as, we can say, a stimuli is the hot substance. Response, as we withdraw our hand, that is your response to stimuli. Common example, when some delicious food has been cooked in your house, saliva secretion takes place by the smell of the food. So here the smell of the food is your stimuli and the secretion of the saliva is your response. When someone pinch you, okay, then also we feel and we withdraw our hand. So the pinching is also called a stimulation and the withdrawing of the hand is also called your response. Okay. In the case of the animals also, means common example if we will take, when an animal feels cold, the animal moves towards the sunlight to feel warmer. That is also we can say the response to the stimuli. Okay, plants, whenever in which direction the sunlight is coming, the plant slightly moves towards the sunlight. It is also a response to stimuli. Where the stimuli is your sunlight and the response is the bending of the plants or the body, the plant parts towards the sunlight. It is called phototropism. So this is all about, we can say, response to stimuli. Anything Common example I will give, suppose you are going on your way and anyone is making horn sound, then you are making out of his way. Means in that position, in that thing also we can say that the sound of the horn act as the stimuli, and as you are getting out of the track or your way, that is known as your response. This is common example I am giving. So anything such which create any sort of response in our body, that is called the stimuli. And every living organisms have this quality or this characteristics, that it is the response to stimuli. Whenever stimuli we receive or we expose to any sort of stimuli, we show such type of response. Okay, so the first point is every living organisms show responses or irritability towards stimuli or your external environment. Common example you can write. Movement of plants towards light, which is known as your phototropism. Another example you can write, whenever an animal feels cold, it moves towards the sunlight to get warmer. Whenever an animal feels cold, it moves towards the sunlight to feel warmer. It is also a sort of we can say response to the stimuli. Okay. Next, every living organisms has an important characteristics, that is your healing and repair. Every living organism has the power to heal their wounds and also we can say repair their cutting body parts. Every living organisms have the power to heal their wounds and repair the cut body parts. Okay, means suppose I have a wound accidentally, I have a wound. So if is that wound remains for your lifetime? No. Such as if we can say if any cut happens or bleeding occurs, is that remain for your lifetime? No, because it heals always, it repairs always, and that power is present in the living organism. Suppose a wound has been happened, means after so many days what happens, a new skin layer is being formed, or we can say healing of the repair of the wound happens. So this is one of the important characteristics, means every living organisms have the power of healing of their wounds, or that we can say repair their cut body parts. Okay. Next is your excretion. The various waste product, okay, or you can say the various waste product is being formed as a result of the metabolism. Means metabolism means what? Various chemical reaction are being taken, or we can say processed in our body, occurs inside our body. Various physiological action are occurred inside our body. As a result from that metabolism, various waste products are being eliminated from the body, so as to we can as if that harmful substances or toxic substances remain inside our body, they can cause harm to us. So it is necessary to eliminate that we can say the waste product from our body in a regular interval of time. Okay, and the excretion means it is the process in which the waste products, or we can say toxins, are being released or eliminated, which are produced as a result of the metabolism. So we can write, it is the process in which the waste product or the toxins are being eliminated from the body, which are produced as a result of metabolism. Okay, as a result of metabolism. Okay, common examples are you can say urea, uric acid, ammonia. Means these are some harmful substance, or we can say waste product which are produced as a byproduct, or we can say as a result of the metabolism. But these are to be regularly, in regular interval, this should be eliminated from our body. And who does that? The elimination of the waste product? The excretion process. And also various excretory parts are also present, which will later discuss in our excretory system. But as of now, you should only remember this, that the excretion is one of your important characteristics of the living organism, in which the waste product which are produced from the metabolism as a result of the metabolism or as a byproduct of the metabolism is being eliminated from the body. Because why it is necessary to be eliminated? Because the toxins, the harmful substance which are produced as a result of the metabolism are we can say are toxic in nature. Means they are not means we can say useful for our body, or we can say it is harmful for our body if it is being accumulated some more time in our body. So in regular interval of time, it should be eliminated from our body, and that process is known as your excretion. Okay, some excretory products are such as urea, uric acid, ammonia, etc. Okay, urea, uric acid, ammonia, etc. Example you can write. In the human, the urine formation, okay, it is also a byproduct. Then in plants, elimination of CO2 and water takes place as a result of respiration. Elimination of CO2 and water. Okay, CO2 means carbon dioxide, H2O means water, as a result of respiration. Okay, so these are your three important characteristics. First is your response to stimuli, means every living organism, so we can say response or irritability towards a particular stimuli or external environment. Okay, and also some common examples we discuss, such as your movement of plants towards the light, which is known as your phototropism, and whenever an animal feels cold, it moves towards the sunlight to get warmer. Also we discuss healing and repair, and in every living organism it have the power or ability to heal their wounds or repair their cut body parts. And the excretion, it is the process in which the waste products, okay, which are produced as a result of the metabolism are being eliminated in a regular interval. Some excretory products are urea, uric acid, ammonia, and common example you can take urine formation in the human, and in the class of plants, the CO2 and water is formed as a result, as a byproduct of the metabolism as the process of the respiration. In the plants, from by the help of the respiration, the CO2 and H2O are being eliminated. Okay, so we discuss now response to stimuli, healing and repair, excretion. Okay, please note down. Next we'll discuss two more important characteristics. One is adaptation, other one is genetic continuity. What is adaptation? Every living organism, okay, shows inheritable, useful inheritable variation or changes in according to adapt in the as compared to the outer environment. So we can write adaptation is an useful inheritable variation or changes in according to adapt to the environment. Okay, means adaptive. Suppose we are saying that if you are going to any, if you are staying here, if you are going to any hot area, so you are not used to live in that area. But when you used to stay sometimes, or we can say some year in a particular hot area, then you are used to or you adapt to that area. Okay. Similarly, example, if you are staying here and you are not used to, we can say too much cold, but you are going to any place where it is too much cold, or we can say there is always temperature below 0 degree centigrade. So can't you survive there? Yes, you will survive, but you will take some time, by which you will have the ability, you can have that ability so that you can adapt to that place or to that environment. So what is that is called the adaptation. Okay, adaptation means what I said, means an organism have the ability, and it is an inheritable, means such is not like that, means I am only have the ability to adapt. My offspring or my means the pre-generations of also, means my father, grandfathers, they also have the adaptation nature. So this is an useful inheritable variation or changes in according to the, we can say, to adapt to the outer environment. Okay, means see, we are also having that, we can say the blood and the flesh, and the persons we are staying in the, we can say the suppose the Siachen, there below 0 degree centigrade the temperature is there. There also the people are surviving. But we can't resist even if the temperature comes down to the 9 degree or 10 degree centigrade also. How? Because they are adapted to that area. We can't also survive temperature more than the 40 degree. But there are also few places where the temperature is above 50 degree. But they also survive there. The people also survive there. How? They adapt to that area. So the adaptation is an, we can say it is an useful inheritable, we can say the variation or changes according to the, we can say to adapt to the outer environment. Okay, and the adaptation is of two types, short term adaptation and the long term adaptation. The adaptation, it is of two types. The adaptation, it is of two types. One is your short term adaptation, other one is your long term adaptation. One is your short term adaptation, other one is your long term adaptation. Okay, short term means it is for some temporary time, but it is some for, we can say, the permanent time. Okay, short term we can example take the tanning, okay, and also we can say the hibernation, the estivation, okay, the estivation. Okay, hibernation means what? Winter sleep. Means in the winter season, due to very much of the cold, the various animals such as we can say some frogs, then we can say the bat, the bears, they go into the dormant stage. They becomes inactive in the complete winter season. That is called your hibernation. Okay, Estivation means the summer sleep, means due to too much of the hot, some animals go into the dormant stage, such as your some frogs also, we can say some crocodiles, insects, few snakes, they go to the dormant stage in the case of the estivation. Okay. But this is a temporary, means after the summer season they comes out. Okay, and in the case of the hibernation, after the winter season they comes out. So this is a temporary, not permanent one. But in the case of the long term, it is permanent one. And in this development of new organs, or we can say characters, and also degeneration of various organs also takes place. Degeneration of various organs also takes place. Okay. In the case of the long term adaptation, it is explained under the course of the evolution. Okay. Means some common example you can take, such as we know that the giraffe, that is it is now present with having a long neck, it supposed to be, not used to be having the long neck years before, means not years, means millions of years before. In the course of evolution, in the long term of adaptation, they have the capability, so we can say now the generation having the long neck, which is inheritable. Okay, means a new organ is being developed. And if we will take the degeneration case, then we are the course from developed from the, we can say, the monkey or the apes, which have been used to have the four-limb hand limbs of the same length. But as usually in adaptation to the environment, our legs become longer and the hands become shorter. The tails, which used to be present in the case of our means in the case of the ancestors, means million years of ago, now we don't have no tail because it is of no use. Okay, so it is a long term adaptation, means you can say it is a long term the adaptation you can explain on the course of the evolution, means it is a permanent one. Okay, so it is all about your adaptation. Next is the genetic continuity. Every living organisms have the, we can say, the DNA or the RNA as the genetic material, okay, which transforms from one generation to generation to maintain the continuity. Every living organisms have DNA or RNA as their genetic material, which is transformed from one generation to other. Okay, means every living organisms have the DNA or the RNA as their genetic material. Most have the DNA, some have the RNA. The genetic material is stored, we can say, in the form of the DNA or the RNA. And this genetic material helps in transforming various characters, okay, or traits, or we can say simply, we can say the various characters simply from one generation to other generation to maintain the continuity of the life. The DNA is also called as the blueprint of the life. The DNA is also called the blueprint of the life. Okay, blueprint of the life means what? In the DNA, our total information is being stored. Means what should be our hair color, how should be our hair type should be, what should be our eye color, what should be our pigmentation. So every data, how should be our face, how should be our body structure, every details is stored in the case of the DNA as a genetic material. Okay, so it is known as your DNA is the genetic material of your life. In most bacteria and human beings, mostly, or we can say in most organisms such as your bacteria, and the common example is your human beings, the DNA acts as the genetic material. But in some cases also, some viruses also, such as your retroviruses, in that retroviruses the RNA acts as the genetic material. So in most organisms such as bacteria and we can say humans, bacteria, humans, etc. will write bacteria, humans, etc. DNA acts as the genetic material. DNA acts as the genetic material. Okay, but in some viruses such as retroviruses, the RNA acts as the genetic material. Okay, so this is all about the two important characteristics. One is the adaptation, another one is genetic continuity. Adaptation means it is, we can say it is a inheritable useful inheritable variation or changes according to the outer environment. It is of two types. One is your short term and another one is long term. Short term is temporary, long term is, we can say, it is discussed in the course of the evolution. Next is your genetic continuity, in which the DNA or RNA act as the genetic material. Okay, and the most cases DNA act as the genetic material such as the bacteria and humans, and in some viruses such as retrovirus the RNA act as the genetic material. Okay, please note down. We will discuss three more important characteristics: reproduction, evolution and the death. Every living organism have the power to reproduce or produce of their own kind. Every living organism have the power to reproduce or produce of their own kinds. Okay, produce offspring of their own kinds. Produce offsprings of their own kind. Okay, means what? Means every living organism have the power to reproduce, maybe it asexually, maybe it sexually. In the asexually, one partner is involved. In the asexually, two partners are involved, in which the gamete formation takes place. In detail, we will read in our later classes. So, what is reproduction? Means every living organism have the power to, we can say, reproduce or produce offspring of their own kind. Means a human being will reproduce or is able to produce a human being from a particular animal, such as your cow will help to reproduce the offspring such as the cow like. From banyan tree will come. From mango tree will come. So we can say the organisms have the power to reproduce or produce of their own kind. That is the main important the characteristics of the reproduction. But some exceptions are also there in the reproduction. Okay, here we can't write every living organisms. We will write your organisms have the power, because some organisms are also sterile, means they are not capable to reproduce. So this is not applicable to every, means most of the, we can say that the characteristics of the reproduction is present, but some cases are also present. They act as sterile. Fertile means they are capable to reproduce. Sterile means they are unable to reproduce. But simply if we will take in normal case, then the living organism have the capability to reproduce their own kind. In the lower animals, or we can say in the unicellular case, what happens? The growth and development is similar to reproduction. Okay, means what happens? Means this is reproduction means what? Having, or we can say the production of the organisms or of the offspring of their own kind. But in the case of unicellular, as they are the lower animals, in the case of the unicellular, what happens? It divides. It simply cell division occurs. Cell divides, and from one you can say from the one cell they happen the two cell, or from one unicellular animal they forms two unicellular animals. So in that case the growth and development is also similar to reproduction. Okay, so now evolution. Evolution, we can say the organisms gradually modified into new species, new race, new varieties in due time by the accumulation of variation. Okay, means what? In course of time, means not such as like that, means 1 day, 2 day, or we can say in a month, or in some 1 year or 2 year. It takes a lot of time. It takes millions of time. Okay, common example I will tell you. Example: the long neck of the giraffe. Long neck of giraffe. So what is the evolution we said? Means the organism that we are seeing today is gradually modified in course of time, having the new race, new species, new varieties due to the accumulation of new varieties. Common example in our case, human evolution. Yes, another example also you can write, human evolution. The way we are today, it used to be in the if we'll go the million years back. Okay, because our ancestors are ape-like or monkey-like. Okay, we have the 2 legs for the walking, but they walk on the 4, means they used to walk on the hind limb and also on the 4 limbs. But in course of time, as the use of the hind limbs become more useful, as course of time the 4 limbs become shorter. So this use means the gradually modified changes causes new species. Now we are called the Homo sapiens sapiens. Okay, but in our ancestors there are various numerical species which are able to, means they have the various millions of, means we can say the various characters that we don't have today. They used to have hair on their body. We can say they have the broad head, big type head. So we are now that we are as used to be is so much different from our ancestors as used to be, because they used to be apes like, monkeys like. But millions of years as passes and by the course of time, now we developed as a human being, or Homo sapiens sapiens, means new species we have found now. We are converted into new species in course of time. New races occur, new varieties we have now present. And also one more example I will give you. Giraffe, as you are seeing now, they are now used to having the long neck. But in course of time, or if we will go millions of years back, they don't used to have the long neck, because at that time small shrubs are present, means they used to feed easily. But due to some accidental purpose, or we can say due to some various reasons, small shrubs all were damaged. Only the long trees were remained. So in course of survival, what the giraffe have done? They stretch their necks so as to they reach the leaves, and they can feed that leaves. So in millions of course of time, as they used to, we can say, stretch their necks in course of time, finally they have a elongated, or we can say long type neck. This is also one of your important example of the evolution. So simply evolution means what? Organisms gradually modified into a new species, new race, new varieties due to the, or we can say due to the accumulation of the new varieties. Okay. Example is your common example, long neck of giraffe and the human evolution. As we are evoluted from the ape-like the ancestors to now current Homo sapiens sapiens. Now death. Death is the termination of the functional life. Death is the termination of the functional life. Okay. Death is of two types. One is your clinical death. One is your clinical death, and after the clinical death means after 4 to 5 minutes, the biological death occurs. What is the clinical death and the biological death? In the clinical death, what happens? In this, the brain cells get death, means the damages occur, the breathing stops, the heartbeat stops, the pulse rate stops, and we can say that is known as your clinical death. The moment when the doctor says that the death occurs, that is your clinical death. But you should know that after the death, the persons are able to transplant their body parts such as eye or various body parts. When it occurs? During the biological death. Means after the biological death, one cannot give their body parts or donate their body parts. After the clinical death, they can give, because up to 4 to 5 minutes they have time so that they can donate their body parts. So in the clinical death, what occurs? The brain cells death occurs, the breathing, heartbeat, pulse rate stops. And in the case of the biological death, the cells death occurs. Cells death occurs. Okay. And in the case of the biological death, the decrease of the energy takes place and increase in the entropy takes place. Decrease in energy and increase in entropy. So the biological death occurs by the decrease in energy and the increase in the entropy. Decrease in energy means what? Means our cell, as the breathing stops, the cell is now unable to get the oxygen. As it is now unable to get the oxygen, obviously energy will be not released. So we can say means created by or released, by which the energy is decreased in highly manner. But increase in entropy means what? Entropy means irreversible. That irreversible will be increased. What irreversible means? Breathing which is once stopped, will it be started again? No. The heartbeat which is stopped, will it be irreversible? Means will it be reversed? No, it will be irreversible. The pulse rate which is once stopped, will it be once again started? No. So the irreversible is being increased. Okay. So that irreversible is known as your entropy. Means it cannot be reversed. Okay. Irreversible means what? As I have said, the breathing cannot be started again once again. The heartbeat once again cannot be started. The pulse rate once again cannot be started. You clearly understand. You understood or have the idea during the entropy. Entropy means irreversible. Means it cannot be reversed once again. Breathing cannot be reversed once again. Heartbeat starting of the heartbeat cannot be reversed once again. Starting of the pulse rate cannot be started once again. So it is the irreversible. So increase in the irreversible, or we can say increase in the entropy. Okay. So Now we discussed the reproduction, which means the organisms have the ability to reproduce or produce of their own kind, but exceptions are there. Some are sterile, means they are not able to reproduce. So I have written first, I have written the living organism, but now after I have told that the all not living organisms, so we can write the organisms have the power to reproduce, not all. Okay. And also we told that evolution means the organism gradually modified into new variety, new space, new race in course of time due to the variation. And the death is the termination of the functional life. It is of two types, clinical death and biological death. First, clinical death occurs. After 4 to 5 minutes, biological death occurs. In the clinical death, first the brain cells death occurs, and the breathing, the heartbeat and the pulse rate gets stops. Then biological death means the cell will be damaged, and as they are unable to get the oxygen, by which the decrease in the energy takes place, but increase in the entropy means the increase in the irreversibility takes place. Okay, please note down. Now come to your defining property of the living organism and some non-defining property of the living organism. What is defining and the non-defining? Defining means the characteristics that are only present in the living organism, and some properties which may or may not present in the living organism, that are called your non-defining. Defining includes the response to stimuli. If it is a living organism, then it is must that it will show a response when a stimuli is being, or we can say when it is exposed to various stimuli. Means the response to stimuli is must in the living organism. Next, metabolism. As various chemical reactions are being occur inside our body, maybe it is anabolism or catabolism, it is also a defining property because it is also a must for the living organism. And lastly, the cellular organization means, as we discussed, maybe it is unicellular, maybe it is multicellular, it is made up of cell. Okay, and the similar types of cell made of the tissue made of the organ, or similar types of tissue made of the organ, similar organs from the organ system, and we can see the various organ from the organ system, and from the various organ system forms the organism. So this is also must for the living organism, means the important characteristics which is only present, only confined to the living organism. Non-defining means what? Growth. In living organisms also growth occurs. Okay, means by the cell division, cell differentiation, as we discussed earlier. But if we will take example of the mountain, in the mountain also growth occurs. Then we can't say that the growth only occurs in the living organism. Mountain is also growing, we are also growing, but we are growing due to cell differentiation, cell division, or we can say cell enlargement. But in the mountain, the accumulation of sand, rock, various the non-living particles, due to accumulation of that, the mountain grows. So we cannot take the growth under the defining property of the living organisms. Okay, and lastly, the reproduction. As I have said earlier, that the organisms have the power to reproduce or produce of their own kind, but I have said that some organisms may act as sterile, means some organisms are unable to reproduce. That is why I have written the reproduction on the non-defining property. Understood? Defining property means these are the properties which are exclusively present in the living organism, but non-defining means this can be present in the living organism or not. Or we can say you cannot include growth only under the living organism. We can also take the example of the mountain. Reproduction we cannot take in all the organisms, because some organisms are there which are unable to reproduce and they are sterile, and which are able to produce, they are fertile. Okay, so by age of this we came to the end of the total characteristics of the living organisms. In the previous class we discussed 8 important characteristics. Today we discuss various important characteristics such as your response to stimuli, then we can say the adaptation, the reproduction. Okay, so as if now we discussed death, also we discussed evolution, we discussed. So as of now we discuss important 16 characteristics of the living organisms. Means these are important characteristics by which we can know that the organism means that it is a living organisms. Okay, so today we came to end of the complete characteristics of the living organisms. Always remember, make your zoology note. What we are studying in our classes or what I am writing on the board, always you should maintain in your notebook. Okay, after our class is over, you just have a look what we studied today, so that it will be easier for you to recollect in some other time. Okay, so that's all for today. We will meet in our next class. Thank you.